If you want to grow lots of food in a small space, the most important thing you need to do is grow up. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to utilize vertical growing spaces and trellises to maximize your garden's potential. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Christina with Forever Food Forest, a channel where I explore ways of growing food without the use of herbicides, pesticides, or commercial fertilizers. And instead, I rely on permaculture gardening principles and other natural farming techniques to grow food. When it comes to constructing your vertical garden, you have as many options as there are plants that thrive in our Florida climate. You can use recycled materials like old bed frames or this upside down umbrella that we utilized for our cucumber trellis. You can also buy specifically made trellises for your garden. This is another repurposed trellis. It started off as a pull-up bar, and then we ended up just sticking one of these cattle panels in the middle, and now we're growing kiwi berries. If you want to get really eco-friendly and creative, did you know that you can grow your own trellises? For example, right here we have a sunflower that is an excellent climbing trellis for beans and peas. Another option would be to grow cane poles, and that way when you need a stake for your tomatoes, you just come out here and clip one off, and now we can stake our vegetables. And lastly, you can get really creative and use things such as cattle panels and fencing materials to construct mega structures. Let me show you some of the ways that we have utilized these in our garden. If you look around our food forest, you will notice that we utilize these cattle panel archways quite a lot, and that's for a good reason. These allow us to grow 4 times as much food in our garden beds. So right here we have some pumpkins and squash, tomatoes, beans, and a lot of other herbs are growing in the garden beds. So this allows us to maximize our growing space, and also this spot right here creates natural shade that protects our heat sensitive plants from the harsh summer sun. I am standing under another cattle panel archway. Right here we have growing grapes. You can grow grapes in Florida, make some homemade wine. That's kind of fun. When it comes to planning and designing your vertical garden, the most important consideration is the size. If you're working with something smaller like a balcony or a tiny side yard, something like these pea trellises are excellent in small spaces, and you can pop them right in, put them up against the fence, and use them to grow a variety of vegetables. Now, if you're working with a larger area, something between 1/10 of an acre to 1 acre, we really like utilizing these cattle panels into making archways and larger trellises. And actually right here, we made a passion fruit trellis that doubles as like a gazebo. So that's definitely an option if you have the space for it. So when setting up your vertical garden, you might be wondering, how do I position my trellises? And there's actually a very easy solution to that. Imagine the sun as it rises on the east. It's going to flood your garden with that nice, cool, early morning sunlight. And then as it moves across the sky, it's going to get a lot more intense as it moves along the southern portion. So we reserve the southern facing portion of our trellis for our heat and sun loving plants. Right here we have Seminole pumpkins. As the sun moves further across the sky to the western portion, once again it's going to enter through here and flood our garden with that nice late afternoon sunlight. So that's why all of our cattle panel archways are facing east to west. If they were facing north to south, then the southern opening would get flooded with lots and lots of light, and that would defeat the purpose of creating this natural shade structure. And then right here on the northern side, which is going to be the coolest side, we have more heat sensitive plants. We have some grapes and some tomatoes as well. Now that we talked about the design principles guiding your vertical growing system, let's talk about the plants that we can grow utilizing this. When coming up with your planting plan for the season, you want to think in layers: heat tolerant, heat sensitive vines and perennials. So for example, right here we have a heat tolerant plant that's also a vine, a sugar pumpkin. And what's great about these trellises is that these little windows can act as shelves to help support your heavy pumpkins. You can also grow watermelons, squash, peas and beans, and even passion fruit. All right, let's see if you can spot all the vertical gardening systems that we have utilized in this one small area. First one right here are pea trellises. These come up to about 5 feet high, and we're using them to grow tomatoes. We have arranged them in a triangle and created a tomato cage to help support these orange cherry tomatoes. Okay, now right behind me, I have a cucumber trellis that is not being used to grow cucumbers. We have tomatoes. This is a purple Cherokee tomato. And right over here, we have another cattle panel trellis. Now, in the garden beds, in the shade, on the southern side, we have leeks, celery, sorrel, and a variety of herbs. And on the northern side, we have more heat-sensitive plants such as broccoli and stinging nettles. Now, what I really like about these cattle panel tunnels is how easy they are to install. You really don't need any experience. You just need these posts. You stick them in the ground. Then you just pop your cattle panels in these little slots, and then you can get tie downs. This one has tie downs and you can attach them to the post. But once they're in, they're pretty sturdy. I mean, we've had these for over 2 years. They lasted through a hurricane. It's really the best value for your money, you know? Now, if you're handy, you can definitely build frames for them. I've seen people make really beautiful structures, but overall, my favorite tool in the garden. Okay, so now we move to a different part of our garden. I am on the southern side of our cattle panel trellis, and this spot right here is going to get the most sun because it's unobstructed southern exposure. Right in the garden bed, we have heat-tolerant crops that are also going to act as living mulch. So we have lots and lots of peanuts that I planted here several months ago. Let's talk about microclimates, okay? Check this out. It's almost June, and because this little spot right here gets very limited sun, it stays cool most of the time, we still have broccoli. Okay, this one's going to flower, but it's pretty cool. Microclimates, you want to utilize them. You want to sit down, you want to watch how the sun moves across your garden or food forest and take advantage of these little pockets of shade. Now, let's go on the inside of the trellis. We just cleaned this up. So we have bird feeders. And then on the inside, we have some peppers. We just had a bunch of parsley in here that we took out. We also have some more tomatoes. I believe these are purple Cherokee or maybe mortgage lifters. And this, perhaps, right here is one of the most exciting plants that you can grow in Florida. It's dragon fruit. And dragon fruits require a trellis, but they need a very special trellis. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, now let's talk about specialty trellises. This is a dragon fruit trellis. In order for a dragon fruit to form fruit, it needs to grow up and then hang down. So this kind of trellis, we put a cat scratcher here so that it can climb up, and then the limbs go through here, hang down, and begin to fruit. Now we just need to install it, and it's actually really easy to install because you just dig a hole that's about 2 feet deep, stick it in the ground, and wait. All right, moving on. Now, if you're short on space, these little tomato cages are amazing for utilizing that vertical growth. They're small, they're compact, they're light, and they help utilize the most of your space. And then the tomatoes can just rest their limbs, rest their fruit. Really nice. We have lots of these. Here's one. There's another one over there. We got a watermelon growing in there. Right here, we are utilizing a cattle panel trellis to create a seed starting area. We have a shade cloth going over the top and some shelves for our plants. That way they're protected during the hottest part of the day. We also added some mood lighting, and there's even a hand wash sink over here that collects gray water and then redirects it to our garden beds. Okay, so this is perhaps our most ambitious trellis of all. We just finished this one. It's our passion fruit trellis. Now, the problem that we had before, our passion fruit, we just let it grow wild and it was starting to grow over on the neighbor's property, which means they were collecting all of our passion fruits. Well, that's not fun, is it? So we decided to build a trellis, and the first one we built, we just used regular bamboo. It was about half this size and it got taken over pretty quickly. So then we came up with this system. We're using some brackets to anchor some 2x4s to 4x4s, and then to install this we just dug some holes and stuck them in. Now we have some beams in the middle for support and lights for ambience. What's really cool is once this becomes overgrown with the passion fruit, the area underneath will become a nice little lounging area. We might put a little hammock in here, a swing, and just make this into a really cool recreational spot. Utilizing trellises as well as proper irrigation practices, mulching, and pest control will make sure that your garden thrives this season. So let me know in the comments which type of trellis is your favorite and if you'll be trying any of these in your garden this season. Like if you want to see more content like this, subscribe if you're new, and until next one, keep growing up.